What's up everyone, welcome back to another video. So if you're someone like me and you wanted to make a retro anime illustration but couldn't find any proper tutorials, you are not alone. But in this video I will share everything I learned during the process of making this illustration. So stick around till the end and also consider subscribing because I plan on doing more illustrations in this style and I will make more videos sharing my process. So let's begin. So the first step was designing the car, and I wanted to design a car that would fit in the time period well, so I took inspiration from the old Skylines, Hondas and Toyotas to design this beast. And before I started this illustration, I created a Pinterest board and collected a bunch of screen caps to analyze them. And my initial breakdown was color is everything. The highlights and shadows are not desaturated colors, but instead are the most saturated colors in the entire illustration. Number 2. Avoid blending modes as much as possible. Use them only for shadows if necessary. Number 3. You need to know a little bit about color mixing. And 4. The line art is rough, thin and not very detailed. So in the meantime, until the sketch is done, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what inspired me to do this illustration. So it was not inspired by retro anime or any other artist, but instead it was inspired by a music album called Random Access Memories by Daft Punk. The album was released in 2013, but the music has this incredible vibe of the 80s and the 90s. And I wanted to try and incorporate some of that into this illustration. Once the sketch was done, I exported the PNG into Clip Studio Paint and did the line art using a dry ink brush to give it a rough look. For the character, I went with a simple design because I didn't want to overdo anything, and for the outfit, I made another Pinterest board to collect all the fashion from the 90s and came up with this. After the flats, I jumped onto the background and I chose a really simple background because I didn't want to clutter the illustration with too many colors. And moving on to color, this had to be the hardest part. Every single color choice felt very wrong because these were colors that I would never think of using in my illustrations. But after some time, I was at a point where I had to decide to go all out and risk it. So I went with a cool blue for the highlight and a really warm purple for the shadows. And one more thing to keep in mind is that the theory of cool highlight, warm shadows and warm highlight, cool shadows are pushed to the extremes. And the layer composition for this illustration was one layer for the flats, two layers of shadows and two layers of highlights. And once the illustration was done, it was time for some final touches. So I went on to Lightroom and adjusted the levels by boosting the contrast a little bit and adding the grain.